2019 was 6 years ago, and that year's Formula 1 game, F1 2019, was pretty revolutionary. It was the first to have driver transfers, allowing for some actual movement between teams, and some incredibly weird moves at the same time. So how good is this game at predicting the future? Well, I'll spoil it, it's not great. But because of that, this save very quickly derailed from a pretty standard game into the most absurd you've ever seen, so you definitely don't want to miss out. Season 1 is looking pretty normal. Vettel has cleaned up in the standings as Hamilton didn't really get close. Yep, 2019 Vettel has actually won the championship and gotten his 5th title. I mean, the Ferrari was pretty illegal that year, so I guess it kind of makes sense in the game. Leclerc managed to beat Bottas and the Red Bulls are comfortably 3rd best, but you can probably see some of these moves already, such as Perez to Haas. This probably happened mid-season, but I wouldn't know because I didn't take too many screenshots throughout the seasons. I did note the moves at the end of the year though. Firstly, Kubica was dropped by Williams, with Kvyat moving to the worst team on the grid. Hulkenberg would move to Toro Rosso, the firm 2nd worst team on the grid. Giovinazzi would then go to Renault, with Grosjean moving to Alfa Romeo, Perez going to Haas, and Ricciardo and Stroll doing a seat swap. Finally, Sainz and Magnussen would seat swap as K-Mag returns to his first team and Carlos joins the Rich Energy Haas team. Season 2 sees Hamilton get back on top. He would beat Verstappen by almost 100 points as Vettel has gone from a title to nowhere near. Obviously, we're currently in 2020 and we know how bad Ferrari were that year. I guess this isn't too bad compared to that. Magnussen was best of the rest for McLaren, with Perez putting up a good fight in the Haas and Ricciardo doing well in the Racing Point. In 2020, the Racing Point actually became quite good in real life, and while that hasn't happened here, it's a close fight in that midfield with Haas currently having the 4th best car. Red Bull have just jumped above Mercedes and Ferrari going into Season 3, which should be 2021, and while this should be the year where F1 changes to ground effect, we instead got pretty small regulation changes. Into the moves. To get us started, George Russell and Raikkonen would do a seat swap. And yes, Russell has gotten the Racing Point at some point throughout the year. It's hard to keep up with these things when drivers shift around every 4 races. What a terrible system, and thank God we've moved past that because it's shit. Anyways, Perez would go to Renault, Albon would move to Haas, and so that meant that Sebastian Vettel would return to Red Bull. Maybe he knew something we didn't. Hulkenberg would go to Williams, Grosjean would go to Toro Rosso, and finally, Giovinazzi would return to Alfa Romeo. Into Season 3. 2021 now, and holy damn were Red Bull good. Verstappen cruised to the title by almost 200 points as Vettel had no answer to Max. So far, F1 2019 has predicted Vettel to win 2019, which he didn't even come close. It's had Hamilton to win 2020, and he did. And now it's predicted Verstappen to win 2021. From here on out, things get less normal, but we'll get onto that in a minute because why is Daniel Ricciardo 3rd in a Racing Point? With 2 wins as well. Well, Racing Point actually became Aston Martin in 2021, so clearly that Lawrence Stroll money was starting to come in, and this is evident by the fact that they were the literal fastest car by the end of the year. How else is Antonio Giovinazzi getting podiums? Oh yeah, and special mention to Albon, who almost doubles Sainz's points in the Haas. Wait, where have I heard that one before? So F1 2019 has predicted Sainz and Albon to become teammates in 2021, and at Haas. Pretty bold, but I guess it would have never expected that midfield driver to go to Ferrari. Yeah, so that takes us nicely into the moves, where it's starting to get a bit fucked. Well, first off, Hamilton would leave Mercedes for Alfa Romeo. Clearly, he saw how good Bottas started off in 2022 and how bad the Mercedes would become, and that left Vettel to fill his seat at Mercedes. Leclerc would rejoin Alfa Romeo, and with that, Russell went to Ferrari and Bottas also joined the Scuderia. It was at this point where I could not keep up with the moves anymore and gave up. The order is looking amazing going into 2022 as Mercedes are falling off and Ferrari have had their illegal engines banned for the new reg changes instead of in 2020. It's a new age of Formula 1 in 2022 and oh my god, Ricciardo has won a title. This was a very, very cursed top 10 as the only top 3 team is Red Bull and Verstappen in 3rd. Leclerc would also beat him in the Alfa Romeo. Giovinazzi got a big 273 points and the Constructors is also in freefall as this top 2 just isn't real. There's no going back now, we're forced to ensure Racing Point and Alfa Romeo dominance. From looking at the teams these guys are at as well, we can see that Vettel somehow rejoined Red Bull and Bottas has gone to Toro Rosso. But you would never guess who took his seat at Ferrari. But for Season 5, some things would happen to the grid. These include Ricciardo leaving Racing Point for McLaren. Just 2 years too late, game. Vettel would also move to McLaren, meaning that Kevin Magnussen is at Red Bull, and in Ricciardo's empty seat at Aston Martin, Max Verstappen has taken over. Norris has also ended up at Red Bull with Kvyat at Mercedes now. But into season 5, which is 2023. It got Ricciardo winning the title in 2022 very wrong, but it has a chance to redeem itself in 2023. Yep, I think it's done just that. Do you all remember the Borefest that was 2023 and the record-breaking Verstappen year? Well, F1 2019 has just perfectly predicted it, only Max is at Aston Martin instead of Red Bull. He won every single race this season and missed out on the most perfect season by 5 fastest lap points. Apart from that, he won all 21 races and would typically do this by around 30 seconds to second place. Whether he started in last, first, 8th, he won every time. This is incredibly realistic to real life, it's just the team that it's got wrong. But it has correctly predicted McLaren to come good at the end of 2023. So I've got to give it to F1 2019. It's so far predicted 3 of 5 champions in the right year, and into season 6, not too many changes are happening, at least for the teams at the top. Just ignore Norris being dropped by Red Bull for Romain Grosjean. 2024 now, and of course in real life, Verstappen didn't have it as easy as in 2023, but still managed to win the title despite not having the quickest car for the majority of the year. And what do you know? It's only gone and predicted exactly that. This top 4 in the constructors is wild, and this top 5 in the drivers is wild too. Verstappen wins, albeit by a decent gap to second place Vettel, but still, where was his teammate? Giovinazzi was nowhere. Ricciardo comes 3rd in the McLaren, and Leclerc is 4th in the Kick Sauber, as Magnussen is 5th in the Red Bull. What is going on here? That's 4 out of 6 correct championship wins, and it's even got McLaren to win their first constructor since 1998 in 2024 spot on as well. Just swap out Norris for Ricciardo and Piastri for a 37-year-old Sebastian Vettel. Some quick moves before the final season now. Magnussen joins McLaren as Vettel returns to Red Bull, Giovinazzi is sacked by Aston Martin for Norris, and Grosjean does a seat swap with Leclerc at Alfa Romeo, meaning Charles joins Red Bull. Surely it can't get any weirder in 2025, right? Wrong. What is this top 2? It's not over in present day 2025, but I don't think Ricciardo will be coming back to the sport, and the same with Magnussen. It's correctly predicted McLaren to finish 1-2 because, let's face it, they will definitely go 1-2 in real life. But if you haven't already, take a look at the gap between this top 3. Magnussen almost won a championship. So to answer the question, is F1 2019 good at predicting the future? Well, it is actually pretty good. It got 4 out of 7 champions correct and even guessed that McLaren would become the best team in 2024 and 2025. That is an insane prediction considering how bad the McLarens had been going into 2019. But if you enjoyed this one, subscribe to the channel and keep the binge going by checking out this video on